My name is Justine Quammie. So this video is going to focus on labels, the labels we put on ourselves, also the labels that the world forces upon us, and how we can get back to who we really are beneath all those labels. So I had the idea for this video because I had a random flashback to when I was a child and also college. When I was a child and also when I went to college. When I was young, I kind of saw myself as this Afro-Caribbean person. And to me, when I was a child, that was very different from me being a black person. Because anyone who is West Indian, it's just a different mentality. You know, I saw myself and I saw my parents as people who did not come from America, you know, and so I think in my mind, they kind of skipped over some of what was happening in America because that wasn't where they were born, you know, or that wasn't really, that wasn't what they were raised to believe. A lot of the things that were happening in America around the civil rights, around slavery, you know, all of the other like Jim Crow laws, my grandparents really were not a part of that. And so as the child of those people, you know, I saw myself a bit differently. And I think that this memory kind of resurfaced because of Black Lives Matter, the protests, and also what is going on just in the world in general. You know, the violence that's across the world. And also just how people are not really being true to themselves, you know, and I'm not just talking specifically about black folk, but just in general, a lot of us are not authentic. A lot of us don't even know who we really are. We only see ourselves through the blinders of these labels, these stereotypes, these prejudices. And sometimes this topic seems like, oh, played out, or we talk about the race thing so often. Oh, slavery's over. Why do we have to still talk about this? However, it's a real thing. It's a real thing for black people, people of color, African people, anyone in the African diaspora. You know, anyone who has roots in Africa and their families, their ancestors have brought in, have gone other places, have relocated. It's a real thing for us, and it is also a real thing for everyone else in the world. Because these ideas, these philosophies of racism, of prejudice, of making people feel like they are different, you know, all of that is a part of our consciousness. All of that affects us, regardless of if we are the victims of it, if we're the ones who are taking the brunt of the oppression. It doesn't matter. We all are one, essentially. And so when I went to high school, I felt that it was pretty diverse to me. You know, I felt that there were so many different types of children there. You know, there were Indian kids, there were West Indian kids, Hispanic kids, Black American kids, white kids. And it's like we all came together. And for me, I never felt different. I never felt different because of my skin color, because of my race, because of where I came from. I just feel like we all meshed. We all kind of came together and we were all able to be ourselves. But at the same time, you know, our differences were appreciated, and you could find your home in my high school. When I was a little girl, like elementary school, everybody was a West Indian, you know, or everybody had parents who were from, you know, Guyana or Jamaica or Trinidad or St. Vincent. And we all were just this, you know, this lovely group of West Indian kids. And it was a very different mentality. Because even if we came from different islands, it's still this mindset of the West Indies islander. But it wasn't until I went to college that all of that changed. It's like all of a sudden I felt like the other. All of a sudden I felt different. All of a sudden I started to see myself how white folk see us. You know, I started to kind of see myself through that lens. And my college was predominantly white. And the other groups of people there, you had the Haitians, they hung out together, and the Haitians kind of hung out with the Africans. So we kind of all formed this unit, but then you had most white people hung out together. The Indians, they hung out in their little clique. The Saudi Arabians, who I guess came from, they were international students, they all hung out together. The Muslim people, a lot of them hung out amongst themselves. And you could just see, like, there's a pocket here, there's a pocket here, there's a pocket here. And it wasn't really this nice, diverse, coming together environment. And in the moment, I didn't really overthink it in this way. I didn't intellectualize it, but it's only until years and years later that I can say, wow, that was a real thing. And to be honest, it wasn't like an overt prejudice, and it wasn't an overt, stereotyping and racism and all this kind of stuff. It just, you could feel it. And as, a person who's not white, I felt it, and it just felt like there was a lot of, maybe hidden energies that were not talked about. And I can't really explain it in any better way. I just know that there was an energy that was much different than when I was at high school or elementary school. And my point is, this is something that I feel like we all have to deal with. We all have to come back to this idea of who are we? Because I was never what a racist would consider me to be. I don't fit into any of those categories. I don't fit into any of those boxes. And it's like, imagine someone who's been forced into these boxes, and their mind is so controlled by those stereotypes and prejudices that they cannot even figure out who they are, because that's been a mindset that was pushed on them since they were children. I am privileged because everybody in my childhood was very clear on what the history was, who I was, where we came from, what the truth was. And so I grew up with that. And so even when I went to college, I was able to not allow that to stop me from being successful. And I did not take it to heart. But I more so just felt the energy of, okay, I'm a bit different here, or they see me, or the energy is projecting to me as I'm the other, and I feel that we all need to come back to who we were as children, just who we were as children. It's a lot to go back to, but we need to really think about, before I even knew that this person was black, this person was white, this person looked different, this person talked different, and before I even made that an issue, before I even saw that as an issue, before maybe even my parents put these energies on me to make me feel like I have to shove somebody else away that I want to be friends with because they're different. Who was that child? Because now I realize that when I wake up in the morning, I don't see myself as black. I don't see myself through the eyes of racism. I don't see myself through the eyes of a white person. I don't see myself through the eyes of a man. But there are times when it's like there's nothing else I can look at except someone else's, distrust of me, someone else's dislike, disgust, and all those are real things, but they have nothing to do with me. I don't stop being beautiful. I don't stop being a great person. I don't stop being someone's child, someone's niece, someone's cousin, someone's friend, because of these evil ideas out there. And I want to just ask everyone who's watching this video, really think about, what are those prejudices that have been put on you? What are those biases that have been put on you? Because we all have them. Even as someone who's come from Caribbean people, there are a lot of biases and prejudices in the Caribbean. And you have to unpack them. You have to really take a good hard look at yourself and say, why do I feel this way? You know? Because to be honest, I don't want to be that person who sees every white person as a threat. Because that's not even real. Not every white person is a threat. Not every white person is racist. Not every white person is different from me. There's this saying that, just because someone is skin folk, that doesn't mean they're kinfolk. And I just heard that at a recent protest I went to, and I loved it because it's like there are a lot of people in the world who look exactly like me. They have big brown eyes, they have a big nose, they have big lips, they have brown, chocolate, dark brown skin, and we are nothing alike. And the same token goes the other way. There are a lot of white folk out there who are crazy, racist, have really evil philosophies and ideas, and they've been taught that by their forefathers or whoever came before them. And they don't mix well with the white people out there who are praising the sun and out in nature and doing yoga and, really going into inner city schools because they truly just love to teach. So it's the same thing. Not all white folk are the same. Not all black folk are the same. And even beneath all those labels, it's like, who are we? Who are we? Because we're not our color. We're not our color. We're not our parents. We're definitely not our parents. We're definitely not the people who have, raised us. There are a lot of things out there that we've been taught that are helpful, that are great, that are beautiful, and that should be kept. But all the other stuff, all the negative stuff, all the stuff that just isn't real for our life, it needs to be cast aside. And so I want to just end with this, that whoever you were as a child, before you even learned about evilness, before you even learned about different races of people, before you even learned about how you were different, how you looked different, how you sounded different, get back to that place, because that's a really good starting point. Children are like they are the purest beings in the world. The purest beings in the world. They are authentically themselves. And they're not even trying. They have no concept of otherness. You see them at the playground and the sandbox. White kids playing with black kids, playing with Hispanic kids, playing with Asian kids. No one has any issue. It's only until the parents come in and make it seem as if there's a huge problem, then the kids start to connect. Oh, okay, this one looks different from me, so maybe I'm not supposed to like him. She looks different from me, so maybe we're not supposed to be friends. Maybe she's bad and I'm supposed to stay away from this person. That's how it starts. But we need to get back to a place where we just see ourselves as we are. Not seeing yourself through how everybody else sees you, or how racist people see you, how evil, unkind people see you, stupid people see you, ignorant people see you, but just really spending that time. And especially now, we're still in the coronavirus situation, so you still have time to detach and go within. Take this time to learn about yourself. Strip away all the ego that's involved in the color of your skin, or all of the ideas and the prejudices and the stereotypes that are put on you because of your sex, your gender, your orientation, what you like to do, where you work, right? No one is their job. No one is their sex, if they're a man or a woman. No one is their body shape. No one is their race. But we have these ideas about ourselves. And if you're someone who really believes that, oh my God, I'm so privileged. Oh my God, like, I have all this status. I have a lot of money. And that means I can do whatever I want. Even that is not who you are. If you're someone who looks down on yourself because you didn't go to school, or because you didn't get a chance to live the dream you want, even that is not really who you are. You need to find out who you are. You need to come to a place where you understand what is within me that doesn't change. Because skin changes, jobs change, financial situations change. There are people who have inherited money for over, 5 to 10 generations, and all of a sudden they lose everything. So you have tied up your identity into your family's wealth, for example, or if that kind of person tied up their identity in their job or their career, or, I'm the head of this company, or, I haven't succeeded very well. And that could change in the blink of an eye. So then who are you? Do you lose your value? Do you lose who God really wanted you to be? So we need to get away from all of this, superficial nonsense and really get back to who we